I know SOS, some of the committee members heard from SOS earlier, and I know a lot of those kids are also involved in the program. So.
Totally, and about half of them are Nevada or California, kind of depends. We love SOS too.
Thanks.
All right, thanks so much, Michelle. We'll be in touch.
All right, thank you all. Bye.
Okay, and then I think the Girl Scouts are here already. Are you all ready to present?
Yes, we are.
All right, awesome. Well, then I'll pull up your presentation here. Whoops. I need to make it that small. Just let me know when you want me to advance through, and go ahead and get started whenever you're ready.
I was with you, and now there. When you said let's go, then my screen changed to something else. Hi. I'm Karen Rudd. I'm the Chief Development Officer here at Girl Scouts of the Sierra Nevada. So thank you for having us, and I'll go kind of quick. There's actually 3 of us here. We wanted to bring all the expertise in case you had any specific questions for us, Joanne and Lo, and I'll have them introduce themselves as we go through. And you can advance, please. Thanks. So we are an organization 113 years old, and we've been here in Northern Nevada for 96 years out of Reno. And we do, our mission is to develop girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. And the outdoors has been part of our DNA and part of our programming and part of creating those strong girls throughout the 113 years as an organization. You can advance. I wanted to give you an idea of our territory that we have. We do cover all of Northern Nevada. We service girls in all of those counties and even nooks and crannies of those counties. We also cover the north eastern side of the Sierra Nevadas. So everything from the ridge of the Sierra Nevadas down. So all the way up the Oregon border, all the way down to Bishop on the east side of the ridge. We aim to cover 500 girls with this funding. We have council-led troops that we have Lo that will be talking about it. The girls that we'll be reaching with this program that are 100% face barriers to getting in the outdoors. And as you can see, 70% of our students qualify for free and reduced lunches. You can advance again. So Lo is our council-led troop person, and I'll turn it over to her, and I'll be available for questions at the end as well.
Hi, everybody. A little bit about our council-led troop program. When you think of Girl Scouts, you traditionally think of volunteers and moms and people in the community coming to lead Girl Scout meetings. After the pandemic, we noticed a big lack of volunteerism and just a lack of interest in Girl Scouts. So our way to kind of combat that was by creating the council-led troop program. So it is myself and my staff go into these different schools, and we are the troop leaders for those different communities. So we really try to target rural areas that have limited services, low-income communities, specifically like Title I schools is where we're really targeting, and after school programs. We've had partnerships with Boys and Girls Club, Team Up. We're currently working on a partnership with Sierra Kids. And we really try to help address socioeconomic barriers by providing transportation. We have Girl Scout vans, and we drive our girls to and from troop meetings and to different Girl Scout events and to the outdoors, of course. We address food insecurity. We have a partnership with the Northern Nevada Food Bank. We have a food bank here at Girl Scouts. Any Girl Scout family is welcome to come and shop around. And we also provide financial assistance. We never want money to be a reason why girls don't have access to scouting and to the outdoors. You can go to the next slide. So our council-led troop program outdoor badge focus for 2026 is going to be on all of these lovely badges here. That first one, our Eco Learner, is for our daisies, which are kindergartners and our first graders. We really want to start teaching them about the outdoors from a young age and slowly introduce these different ideas to them so that when they are older, they're ready to camp and hike and do all those fun things. So we start that with the Eco Learner. There, they learn how to be prepared for nature and how to protect nature from things like trash and humans. Next is our Eco Friend. That's the next step up for our brownies, which are our second and third graders. In Eco Friend, they learn to observe nature. So they go and they see and they feel and they touch. And they also practice learning to be kind to all living things. So not just the snuggly bunnies and the pretty deer, but the snakes and the bugs and all that good stuff. The next up is for our juniors, which is our 4th and 5th graders. That is our eco camper. So this is when they kind of put those leave no trace principles that we've been discussing as daisies and brownies into practice. So they learn how to have a minimal impact campsite and really what leave no trace means. Next, for our older girls, which is our 6th to 8th graders, our cadets, that is the Eco Trekker badge. And that's where they learn how to plan a minimal impact trek or hike into the outdoors and take a hike with purpose, whether that purpose be to learn about the different flora and fauna in that area or to keep the trail clean. We want to teach them that they can go into the outdoors and have an impact when they go out there. The next badge we'll be working on is the Clover Petal. All of our daisies earn petals that have to do with our Girl Scout law. And the Clover Petal is use resources wisely, which is where we learn everyone's favorite saying, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Next for our brownies would be our Bugs badge. And that is where they explore the world of bugs in their homes and how important bugs are. Even if we don't like them, they are very important to our ecosystem. For our juniors, they learn about the flowers. So they learn that it's not just a pretty thing that we look at and we smell, but they are extremely important to us and how we can take care of them and the amazing science of how they exist. And then last but not least, my favorite is the trees for our cadets, where they explore the connection between us humans and trees and how we need each other to survive and learn how to help trees thrive. You can go to the next slide. And the last thing we will be doing with this grant would be our field trips, which would be snowshoeing. We would do 2 sessions, one for our younger girls at Galena Creek Trail and one for our older girls at Chickadee Ridge. I think it's everybody's dream to be a Disney princess, where they hold out when the birds come and chirp on them. And I think snowshoeing is a very special experience that not a lot of people get to experience. So thank you. You can go to the next slide.
Hi, my name's Joanne Estes. I'm our COO here at our council, and I just have some stats to share with you. Some of the ways that Girl Scouts build leaders in the outdoors is by gaining outdoor competence. Girls learn to engage safely and responsibly in a range of outdoor activities, interest in the outdoors and love of nature. They gain outdoor confidence in their ability to take on new challenges and learn to succeed. And then also environmental stewardship, where girls understand how their behaviors impact the environment. You can go to the next slide. Just some more stats out of a survey of 1,500 girls. 86% of girls in Girl Scouts believe that they have learned a lot about the outdoors or nature. 84% have done outdoor activities in Girl Scouts that they hadn't done in the past. 83% of girls say that Girl Scouts has taught them how to take care of the environment. 80% of girls have done outdoor activities through Girl Scouts that they would not have done otherwise. And 68% of girls doing outdoor activities in Girl Scouts has helped them overcome at least one fear. And you can go to the next slide. And this is just a chart of our outdoor progression that shows that we have girls at every level participate in outdoor programs, and they do them appropriately, age appropriate. Obviously, we wouldn't have our 6-year-olds go out on a week-long backpacking trip, but they are able to start at, you know, the beginning level of leave no trace and bugs, etc. And you can go to the next one. And just some more stats about our program impact. 80% of girls versus 80% of Girl Scouts versus 68% of non-Girl Scouts have a better sense of self. 75% of Girl Scouts versus 59% of non-Girl Scouts have learned positive values. 62% versus 42% are more challenge-seeking. 60% versus 43% have better, healthier relationships, and 57% versus 28% are better community problem solvers. I think that is the end of our presentation. If you have some questions for us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's start in the room with Greg.
Greg Jewell. So to be clear, the NOER funding is for those 2 snowshoeing field trips. Is that correct?
That and supporting all the different programs that we're doing as far as all the badges that Lo went over during the council-led troops. So it's not just those two. Those two are in addition to all the other badges and activities that we do at the troop meetings for a duration of 7 months.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
Other questions in the room? What about online? Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Girl Scouts. We will be in touch. Thanks for your presentation.
You're right. I'd
Thank
love
you.
to say one more thing, just wrapping it up. I think Girl Scouts is unique in the fact that, you know, there's a real sisterhood and troop bond that is created with the girls that spend year after year together in these troops. And that gives them the advantage of, you know, facing the outdoor challenges and experience that they have, whether they're, you know, afraid to be able to climb to the top of the mountain, or whether to go on the snowshoeing with the cold and things that they have to overcome as young girls. And they really support each other. And I think it's just really beneficial for that reason. And then on the flip side of that, you know, they share joy with each other. And so as they experience things in the outdoor, they really kind of rev up and have this euphoria of being in the outdoors together as they share things. And I think it's great. And we had some funding last year, and we appreciate it. And we hope that we're funded again this year. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Next up, I believe we have Woody, yes?
Yes, Woody.
All right, welcome. We have Woody Worthington with Green Our Planet in the room here in Carson City. I've got your presentation. I'll pull up for you. I think this is the right one. Not you, but
I don't need to talk about it.
let's see. All right, there we go. All right, so there, your presentation is gonna be up there. We have part of our TAC in the room. The rest of them are online. And I'll give you some 2-minute and 1-minute cues.
Okay.
Just hold those up. We've got 10 minutes to present, and then we'll reserve 5 minutes for questions. Just let me know when you want me to advance.
All right, give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Now, was it just you, or are we waiting for anyone online? Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, whenever you're, yeah, go ahead. Whenever you're ready.
Good morning, Woody Worthington for the record. Woody, W-O-O-D-Y, Worthington, W-O-R-T-H-I-N-G-T-O-N. I reside in Douglas County with my family there. Appreciate your guys' time coming here. Very important what we've got here planned. I appreciate it. Growing Nevada Future with the Garden Connect Plus. Go ahead, next slide.
Maybe. There we go.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know who we are, we're the largest school gardens in the nation now currently as of last year. So we beat out Hawaii and California. So we're super excited about that. Yeah, they weren't too happy about that, but we made it work. 400 plus schools in 17 to 18 counties. The only county we're not in is Mineral County, but they're real busy there, Hawthorne and Schurz. So when they're ready, we'll get them dialed in and on some cool gardens. So with that being said, we impact about 250,000 students throughout Nevada. Next slide, please. STEM education. So it is a great and amazing program, but there is some specifics that we align with as STEM works, as well as we are the only STEM accredited program in the nation, which means we have 500 plus STEM programs, community, student farmers market. I think you guys hopefully have been to a few of them, 2 of them down in Vegas and 1 up here up north. So it's kind of that rite of passage for the kids once they're done learning about what agriculture is all about. Coaching, essential teacher support, and professional development. Next slide, please. The farmer education model. This is super amazing. The farmers that are working in the gardens, why not have them as farmer educators? So that's where the funding is going to be focused in with all the 400 programs. Garden Connect Plus, like I said, connects farmers and gardens, educators, urban agriculture professionals who bring the Garden Connect Plus program to life. by providing direct education and support to Nevada students and teachers throughout the school year. Slide, please. So this goes a little bit more in depth. That was one of the questions we had, is the farmer education model. What exactly does it do? We will provide 40 plus educational touch points per school per year. Visit designed for maximum student teacher interaction. That's important, right? Sustainability, getting the teachers educated. A lot of these teachers are not familiar with gardens as well, so we'll be there to support them. And most successful is our hands-on engagement. Students learn chemistry by testing soil pH. Farmers also talks about resources, this thing called water, how to manage that, how to take care of that. Students learn entrepreneurship. I have a little video that we're going to show too. That was the farmers market as well. And the mentor and support. Farmers serve living examples of the real world STEM application. As you know, any type of industry that you get out there, it's going to be STEM related. Students will also see agriculture sustainability career in action. Ongoing relationships build teachers and student confidence through consistent mentorship as well. So the farmer educators will be there to support them as well. Slide, please. Why do the program? These are some of our measurable outcomes that we have seen especially in Nevada, as 93% of the students show an increase in academic achievement in STEM, which is a very good thing. 66% of the teachers perceived an improvement in school culture and climate. They're engaged. The kids want to participate and do the school gardens. And then as well as 83% of the students are more engaged and excited about STEM, which is awesome. 93.9% of the teachers rated Garden Connect Plus as an effective and very effective for teaching STEM. So thank you very much. Okay, why farmer educators matter. These lessons provide crucial learning opportunities for students to explore scientific curiosities through the garden with guidance on urban agriculture professionals. With regular support, gardens become thriving STEM laboratories, inspiring and educating students year round. It's all about the being engaged, practical, hands-on learning. They're going to learn it right there. Next slide, please. And then go ahead and this is the complement of putting it all together. This is what you'll see. No sound.
Can you all see this online? Can you see the YouTube or no?
Yes, it's just pretty slow.
Is it glitchy?
Yeah, it's paused right now. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh,
That means it's really slow then, right? Thanks.
testing us.
Can they hear it out there? Never have technical difficulties.
You don't even need to hear it, actually. It's lovely without it, so don't worry.
So I'm sure we could provide that for you guys, but hopefully you've been to a farmer's market. It's pretty amazing. It's just a culmination of what they've been doing and what they've been growing throughout. It's really rad to work interagency too. We work with the Department of Ag to get the producer certificates, so they make sure that they do everything like they're supposed to. It's also a community engagement piece. A lot of the communities come out and support the kiddos too as well. So it was awesome to see. I was in Carson City when we had ours this year. Actually, a fifth grader in a high school talking about cilantro. So the commonality is amazing to be able to see that. But yeah, they learn. So part of our curriculum too is financial literacy, which is amazing. They learn how to do the business, how to set it up from K through 5. And they are little farmpreneurs. I know I bought several different rocks and produce for more than what I should have, but you can't tell them no, especially when they say blood, sweat, and tears go into it. So really super excited about that. And like I said, just to land the plane on it, it's kind of a farmpreneur. It's a rite of passage that they learn that whole process. So pulling carrots out of the ground. Sienna's amazing. She was just talking about she's never done that and is looking forward to when she becomes a mom to do that as well. Event sponsors, we have several people that support that in the community as well. So if you want to just go ahead and skip that, that would be fine. And you can also access that on YouTube as well if you guys want to check it out later. It is out there. So why is it aligned with the grants? That's the most important, right? And sustainability, it's provide high quality opportunities to directly experience the nature in the world. That's I have 2 minutes. Amazing. Feel like I'm back on FFA. So yeah, so that we align and our farmer educators and support team will deliver 400 hands-on lessons per year to students. How to plant seeds, monitor soil health, manage pests, and not just be farmers, but educators as well. So our outcome is going to be student developed, tangible ag tech and sustainable skills. Expose youth minds to environmental, that's right on point, agriculture and natural resources, that's what we're doing. And improve academic performance, self-esteem, that's a no-brainer. We have a lot of those kids that aren't engaged, they become engaged and they support that. Next, please. So yeah, that's the impact. 400 plus Nevada schools and planting garden programs, statewide reach, ensuring both urban and rural students benefit from outdoor STEM education. It's a no-brainer. It's a win-win for sure. So yeah, so some last minute on that. It's been amazing. We're, like I said, 17 of the 18 counties. We're in rural Wells. We're in Lincoln County. We're all over, and the kids absolutely love it. So that's proof. And thank you guys so much for supporting this. And it would be great to see, just like I said, those farmer educators to really get out there and connect with the kiddos and the educators too as well. Is there any questions?
Thank you. Yeah, let's start in the room. Greg.
Greg, Joel.
Hey, Greg.
Thanks for coming in and giving the talk.
guys are
I love the reach of this program. You might need to help explain my notes, but I put down after reviewing presentation, labor not secured. Is labor secured, the funding for that?
We're working on it. That's what that funding is going to support, is the labor on that to do that. But it's a combination of the farmer educator that's going to support that as well. So does that answer your question?
I guess. I mean, so if the NOER money comes through, does the program proceed? Or is there still a question that it may not?
We're doing our best to fill this where we're at as far as grants is concerned in our current tempo. So yes, it's going to put some burden on it for sure. But we will. The show must go on. We'll try to do our best to make it happen if it doesn't go through. But definitely would support our program for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Jonathan Brunges. And maybe it's the same question. My notes just say the match is unsecured. Are we talking about the same thing, or is that different?
No, it's the same thing. So that the match grant, we're there. We're on a final grant process. So I'm pretty certain we'll have that match. It's not going to be an issue. We have 10 farmers that are there, and we have 400 plus schools that we got to support. So and the SB 104 was there, the bill to support school gardens. We got it passed. Super excited, but it wasn't at the mark where we needed to be. So we have been navigating and looking at different places. We're working with the Department of Health and Human Services with WIC to try to find some funding too. So it'll be secured. You can put my word on that match funding.
Any questions online?
Amy Berry, I just want to say thanks. I think you did a really good job of detailing.
Oh, you just muted yourself, Amy.
Oh, sorry. Learning how teams work still. Amy Berry, I just wanted to say thanks. I think you did a really great job of clearly articulating how the benefits of the garden program really meet a lot of the goals of this grant program. So thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, sir, for
Thank
coming.
you. Appreciate it.
Be in touch.
Thank you.
Coming in.
Thanks, guys.
And I see that Nora is online. Nora, we're a bit ahead of time, but are you ready to present now?
Sure.
Okay, let me pull up your,
Regular session.
this one, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me make sure we're sharing that correctly. Okay. Yeah, so you can just go ahead and let me know when you want me to toggle through your slides. I have 10 minutes to present. I'll reserve 5 for questions. We've got some people here in the room in Carson City and some online. And you can go ahead and get started whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, my name is Nora Luna. I'm the Southern Nevada 4-H Program Manager located here in Las Vegas. About 3 years ago, we obtained this camp in Alamo, which is about 2 hours away from Las Vegas. 4-H has had a camp in Lake Tahoe for many, many years, and we usually would take kids up there once a year, and about 20 kids. But now that we have this camp here nearby, we've just been doing a lot of things to try to bring more kids from the Las Vegas area, the urban area, to this camp. And so thanks for the opportunity to submit this and present a little bit more information. This is the picture of the lodge, and there's a little pond on there. So these are all the pictures from the slideshow are pictures from our last year's camps. Okay, we can move forward. Just so in summary, what we're asking for is to funding for 3 overnight camps that would take place over the summer in 2026, a total of 120 youth, so 40 youth at each of the camps. The 3 camps would be one that is shooting sports, the teen camp and the preteen camp. We have fun names for them, but this just is a description of what those camps would be. All of the camps would be either 3 or 4 days total. And the request that we would pay for the transportation. We have a donation that we can pay for the buses with, and so the funding that we're requesting is to pay for the meals and the activities and the lodging for these camps. Okay, next. Some of the things that we do, our learning outcomes for the campers to help kids build resilience, get some leadership skills, a little independence. For a lot of the kids that go to camp, it's the first time that they've been away from home. And just giving the kids a safe access to nature for some of the urban youth. And obviously we hope that this translates to other skills that would help improve their academic and personal growth. And then they also learn about the environment and also just more about Nevada. Okay. Some of the activities that they do at our camp include kayaking, hiking, archery, fishing. We have a rock wall. They do nature scavenger hunts where they learn about different things that are on the property. We do campfires and they do s'mores. Again, for a lot of the kids, it's the first time they've ever had s'mores or made s'mores. They also do lots of team building, arts and crafts activities, and our focus is on hands-on learning and just fun outdoor exploration. Next. We use the experiential learning model, and so this is a picture of it. Obviously, we want kids to learn by doing, just hands-on, active learning. And then with this model, a lot of the times the learning doesn't necessarily happen in what they're doing, but it's in the reflection. So we incorporate these aspects, which is do, reflect, apply to all the activities where they, might participate in an activity, even if it's a fun activity, tug of war. But then there's always a discussion about, what did they do? What was their thinking process? And then what were some of the skills they used, communication, strategizing, and then having them really think about, well, what do those skills have to do with applying those skills to everyday life? And so again, for every lesson, for everything that we do, that's built into the activity where they think about what they did, why did they do it, how did they do it, what did they learn, and what does this have to do with the application to real life. Okay, next. I'm not going to read over everything, but this is just a sample of the teen schedule from last year. When they arrive, we do an icebreaker. Even before camp, we do a general information session where they meet the camp counselors, which is the 4-H staff, us. And they get an idea of some of the activities that they're going to be doing. We get to answer their questions, go over some of the schedule, the food, the basic questions that they all have. But on day one, we'll do an icebreaker. We stop at Paranagit National Wildlife Refuge. That's on the way to Lincoln to the Alamo camp. And so they spend some time there. Once they're at camp, we divide them up into teams. We don't do the teams every time. Sometimes we do color teams, but we'll do challenges. This particular camp last year was, we did challenges every day, but they get their team assignments, they make their shields and their colors and things like that. And then there's some activities. The evening is closed out with a campfire s'mores, and there's always a debrief and reflection at the end of every day too. The next day we had a barbecue. There were some more challenges, night walks. They get to see the scorpions with our lights and things like that. I had actually never actually seen scorpions. It's very freaky. Archery, rock wall. We have air rifle, and we have, just those activities. We'll also do other things like sewing and cooking. In the evenings, they've done the talent show, poetry slam, karaoke, more s'mores and campfires. On the last day, they build points with their challenges, but also with other things like cleaning up after lunch and breakfast and dinner and things like that. So on the fourth day of this camp, they're awarded. We give them the points and which team won their challenges and things like that. So that is an overview of that teen camp week. We could go to the next slide. This is just like I mentioned, we were divided the groups into teams. They don't do everything in their team because they don't like that, but we'll do like one activity a day that is in their team that's some kind of a challenge. But one thing that we do is those color teams, they do have the same chaperones the whole week. So those chaperones are with that team no matter what they're doing throughout the week. And that way they know that there's someone they can go to, there's someone that they can, build a relationship with, and just, have that person to go to. We can go. Our program, like an overview of the impacts are, we do connect students with nature. There's physical activity and physical health. It improves their self-confidence. There's community involvement, and then fosters stewardship. And I'll go into those a little bit more. We can go to the next slide. So obviously the connecting the students with nature with our surveys, the satisfaction score for the kids was, close to 5, 4.37 out of 5 satisfaction that the kids said in terms of the activities. They increased their comfort with and familiarity with being outside and being in nature, and just helped build positive relationships with Nevada's landscape. Some of our camps we do field trips and go to some of the state parks that are nearby. We don't do that with all of them because the cost of the bus transportation, they'd have to stay there. But with our smaller camps, we do sometimes take the kids to the nearby state parks. We can go to the next slide.
And we've got about a minute and a half, Nora.
It's already been 10 minutes. Okay, so physical health, these are some of the things that they do. Some of our the scoring. Okay, we can go next. And then self-confidence, again, so it scored really high with the kids on the survey. And then the next slide. We do partner with some of the organizations. So like the Nevada Department of Wildlife comes and they've done the fishing and then the kayaking. And then the kids learn about different opportunities in the community around outdoor education. Okay, next. This is a picture of the kids can't swim in our pond. They could, but because it's man-made, but we do other water activities, which are really important. It's still hot in Alamo in the summertime, so these are some of the things. Okay, next. So in general, what we're asking for is a total of $14,960. This would pay for 120 kids to go to summer camp in Lincoln County in Alamo, Nevada, and experience an outdoor, fun, educational, recreational camp experience. And we would be paying for the charter bus. Okay, next. And this aligns with the grant goals in terms of expanding access to outdoor experiences. It promotes environmental literacy for the youth, just builds healthy, confident, engaged youth, and then supports equitable recreation opportunities. All the kids that go to these camps are from urban areas, from a lot of the schools that we work with and that we do programming with throughout the year. And next, you can go to the next slide. These were just add on if I had enough time, but if my time's up, I know this was just stuff in the grant in terms of UNR, who we are. We're a land grant institution. We have offices in every county and we oversee 4-H throughout the state. This is a picture of the kids at Paranagit Wild Refuge, by the way. And let's see, we can. In Clark County, we serve 12,000 youth annually. About 50% of our youth are youth students of color, approximately 50% are low income and we're working in a lot of low performing schools. We also manage a 21st century grant at one of our high schools, and then we also have an AmeriCorps grant. And we do focus on the urban and underserved communities. That last one is a picture of our camp. These are the rooms. That's really nice. These are like hotel rooms. But this is the indoor lunch area. This is the outdoor eating area. And I think that's it. Yeah, so basically this was one of our group pictures. And so I'm open to take questions.
Thank you, Nora. Let's start online. Are there any questions online?
Chad Taylor for the record. Nora, thank you for the presentation. I want to say, I'm not quite sure how you pulled it off, but under $50 a day per student for a camp for 4 days is quite impressive. So is the transportation included in that overall budget for it, or has that been kept separate?
In the budget, so the transportation fees came out to like 7,300.
Right, that you
And
guys are
so
paying.
that's
Okay.
separate. We're paying for that. We're not requesting that. We actually had a donation from the EDC Foundation. And so we're using those funds for the transportation. And so the request for the funding is just simply for the meals and lodging.
And that's for 120 students and oversight over 4 days.
Yes.
And how many times a year do you plan on doing that?
So this would just be for 3 camps over the summer. It would be, yeah, we would do one in May, one in June, and one in July.
And can you do or have the capacity to do more?
We could. We actually do 6, but I didn't request funding for those. Yeah,
Okay.
and we
All
want
right.
to do more. I mean, the goal is to do a lot more. We actually are also looking. They all rent the camp, and other groups will do it. But the goal would be for it to have like all the 4-H kids and us do more camps.
Okay. Thank you. Well done.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Other questions online? Any in the room? All right. Thank you so much, Nora.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We'll be
Good luck.
thanks.
Thanks.
All right, we are a bit ahead of time and I don't see our next presentation here yet. It will be Joseph with Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows. I believe he's going to be here in person in Carson City. So let's reconvene at 10:25 and see if he's here at that point. So we'll take a quick 6-minute break again.
Yeah, first time I've ever seen it built.
All right, if you're online, come on back, please. Morning, guys. I've got your presentation up. It's going to be over here on this side. And then we've got some of our TAC members are here in the room. Most of them are online today. You'll have 10 minutes to present. I'll try and give you 2-minute, 1-minute cues over here. And then we'll reserve 5 minutes for questions. And you can just let me know when you want to talk through the slides. And I think that's it.
Alrighty, so.
Yeah, you can get started whenever you're ready.
Right. Well, thanks for being here. We really appreciate the opportunity to present in person. You don't often get to do that in the grant world. And so the importance of that is not lost on us. We're here representing the Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows. I'm Joe Taglieber. I wrote and submitted this grant. With me is Jackie Aguirre, who's our Director of Sports, Fitness, and Recreation. She manages manages and oversees the Snow Riders program. And I'm sure that we've got some winter enthusiasts even in this room or perhaps on the call. And I'm sure that if I asked you, do you think this is an affordable sport or activity? I'm sure that few to no people would raise their hands. The numbers are even a little bit more shocking, if you can imagine, where lift tickets have risen some 3,600% since 1972. An average day on the mountain for a family of 4 could cost upwards of $1,000. And for people who aren't even a part of underserved communities, this is still a pretty highly inaccessible thing. And here in Reno, we're really fortunate to have Sky Tavern. We partner with them. But even with a program as awesome as theirs, there's still barriers. There's transportation to be considered. Parents have to volunteer. There's a number of variables. Whereas with our resources and our reach at Boys and Girls Club, we're able to go further than that and provide transportation, meals, and make it more accessible. Next slide, please. And so this is possible because of a collaboration between us and Slopes for Sanity, who provides the instruction for snow riders. And though we are very different organizations, they have a more narrow focus on the outdoors, whereas we are a holistic youth services model covering all of those various categories. We are just the same committed to getting our kiddos outdoors. And Jackie can share a little bit about our various sports and fitness programs.
Yeah, so I'm very, very glad to be a part of this. I've never really had the opportunity to present on our sports and fitness and recreation pieces. I take very much pride in being able to provide these services and opportunities to youth in our underserved communities, because I never really had that opportunity. Growing up in Reno and being able to see the mountains and the snow and our outdoor trails, and it's just a really great opportunity to talk about that. Our sports and fitness recreation programs really focus on opportunity for exposure to any sports programs that provide opportunity where they don't typically see. Just like Joe had mentioned, our Snow Riders program really sees that. In this program, a lot of our kids come from our clubs who are unable to receive the transportation, have the ability, break the financial barrier and being able to participate in these. We also look at their growth within themselves. So we see how they progress socially, emotionally, physically, in all those aspects.
And Slopes for Sanity, we're very fortunate to partner with them, and particularly with their focus on mental health in getting our kiddos exposed to the outdoors. And they do a lot more than just winter sports. They do hiking, fishing, rock climbing, etc. And the crossover between our organizations is really key to the success of this program. Next slide, please.
So our Snow Riders program, in a scope, essentially, we really want to empower their physical and mental health well-being. A lot of our kids we see coming through our doors don't really understand what health means to them and how they can really use that, incorporate that into their everyday being. So we focus in on that. As Joe mentioned, Slopes for Sanity really helps on that mental aspect, on how they can support their mental health, being outdoors, being outside. And in collaboration of that, we can really focus in on those two things. Learning to ride. A lot of our kids are never evers, and Joe will kind of tag in on that later on, but they've never been on a snowboard. They've never learned how to ski. They don't know what gear looks like. And so this is all new and exciting for them. So being able to learn how to ride, breaking that financial barrier. We talk about our Mount Rose and our Sky Tavern partnerships. They're really big supporters in how we provide this opportunity for our kids. A lot of our kids are under scholarship at our Boys and Girls Club of Truckee Meadows locations. And so when we are able to provide these opportunities, we help break those financial barriers and exposing them to these programs. And even further so, having those conversations with parents who are interested in furthering their interests. Skills taught programs, problem solving, building resilience, right? It's not an easy sport. And so when they are attending these sessions on a consistent basis, they're able to learn that and learn resilience through that. Establishing friendships and healthy care self-care habits. We teach our riders, our participants, to take care of their gear, to consistently bring their gear to our sessions. So really teaching them those habits and how to take care of it. Exposure leads to retention. A lot of our kids in our Mount Rose group, who is our older age group, have started as never evers and have continued the program and aged out of the program. Some have even asked to volunteer and support the program outside of now aging out of the program. So we help incorporate that for them. And then inclusivity and welcoming. So many kids at different skill levels provide opportunity for mentorship in the program. And so our kids have that chance and the ability to really engage with other youth who never ski, snowboard, who have never done an outdoor recreation program, and really help build that confidence in the relationships they're building.
Next slide, please. When we talk about impact in the grant world, we usually rely on things like numbers served, and that's certainly a valuable metric. But for here, I wanted to focus on some of the more intangible results of being in Snow Riders. And it's really all about the never evers, that initial exposure to winter sport. And over half of our participants year in, year out have never had any kind of access to skiing or snowboarding. And what's really crucial, I think, within this world is that positive reinforcement and support on the learning curve, because it's tough. I mean, I learned to snowboard at Lee Canyon in the Mount Charleston wilderness, notorious for ice. That was my teacher, was the ice, just slamming into it. I wish I had a coach to provide me with the emotional support that is needed along such a learning curve and getting through those really difficult moments. People who understand the physical pain that can happen or the mental limits that can be reached, as well as just kind of the struggle of self-confidence. And that's where Slopes for Sanity brings their expert instruction. They speak a lot about that if you check out their website, and their background in education and mental health as well, combining it with their love of outdoor sport to really give our kiddos the support that they need. And we find that with the never evers. And when we have that retention, right, that Jackie spoke about from just that initial exposure, that easily translates into passion. Slopes for Sanity runs on a small staff and a team of volunteers, people who just love winter sports and want to share this with our kids. And that passion easily trickles down, we find, to our members. And once they begin to make progress, it's transformative. Like when I learned how to fall and leaf, get down the mountain without falling, right, on a snowboard, that was huge for me. So every little bit of progress can be hugely successful in keeping them on the path. It easily leads to a sense of cultural pride. Being immersed in these mountains and the beauty and the wilderness and getting to observe a little bit more of the finer patterns of nature whilst out there is something that, we're really proud of with this program. And some of our participants, a good number, in fact, kind of keep us continue on. After they age out of the program, they volunteer, they work part-time, full-time. Some even take it professionally. Maybe they do social media videos or they're involved in the community somehow. But as a result of that initial exposure, they can find a future pathway through life that is meaningful and fulfilling to them, as shown in our testimonials. Next slide, please.
And so as we go through, just being able to work with the kids, you know, hands-on, and especially through this program, we see it when they're coming back or leaving to the mountain at 7:30 in the morning. They're a little bit tired. They're still here. They showed up. They're ready to go. And when they come back, they're tired, but they're happy. They're excited that they got to experience that, especially when we get fresh powder. And so it's really exciting to be able to see that. You know, we have some testimonials. Dear Mr. S, thank you for taking us skiing and snowboarding. I've learned a lot, and I can now ski alone and do the Black Diamond without you. This has, you know, never happened before, or would have never happened before. Dear Mr. S, thank you for the opportunity you gave me in my life. I really had a good time mountain biking. Thank you for allowing me to explore something I wouldn't have experienced in my normal life. Thank you for all your time and dedication. I hope your program continues to help others. So the impact is real. It's here. We're doing that. We're working with our kids. Currently, right now, you know, we have a roster of 40. We want to continue to expand because we are getting that interest from our parents right now on this opportunity where they normally wouldn't have it before.
Yeah, such as perhaps my 7-year-old. I want to get them into snow riders because it's just such an awesome program. That's all we've got. We really appreciate your time in hearing our presentation and are happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Let's start in the room. Any questions in the room? Greg.
Greg, Joel, so you just mentioned 40 kids. How do you pick those kids?
So typically the way it works is we reach out to our previous youth that were in the program, see if those kids want to return. A good majority of them do return. And then we receive them from our club locations. So we spread the information out to all 50 plus of our locations. They inquire information and get sign up info through me, and then I'll add them to the roster.
Yeah, we have some 35 something locations just in Washoe County.
Yeah.
That would be able to participate potentially.
So potentially one kid per site.
Yeah, roughly speaking. Yeah.
Last year we had about 2 kids from a handful of locations coming through, and those kids typically are, you know, already friends. They know each other, but yeah.
And this is a program that can be upscaled with the right resources. I think past the 40, it becomes more of a logistical transportation issue in being able to serve more kiddos, which we have the capacity to do and can look to do with continued interest.
And your partners are Sky Tavern on roads.
Yes, so we Boys and Girls Club partners with Slopes for Sanity, who does the instruction. And then, yes, Mount Rose, they donate the lift tickets as in kind. We don't pay for the lift tickets. Sky Tavern donates, you know, the usage of their facility for the instruction. So the kids that have already had that basic level, they'll go to Mount Rose, right, for the entire day, 6 hours on Sundays through the winter season. And then the youth who are learning will go to Sky Tavern for the first 2 buses, right? You know, we'll go to Sky Tavern for the first 3 hours, and then, you know, we'll ski for the latter 3.
Great. Any questions online?
Yeah, hi, it's Amy Berry. Great presentation. Just curious, we heard from SOS Outreach earlier. Do you guys work together at all, or is there a main difference between your programs?
For
SOS Outreach. They're
Are you
another.
familiar with? Are you familiar with SOS Outreach?
And to my knowledge, no, I am not aware.
Yes, no, if you were able to speak a little bit about it, we might be able to differentiate.
Oh, interesting. Well, we need to connect you guys because you're doing really similar things in similar spaces. So with limited resources, it'd be great to see a little collaboration. So maybe Kendall, you can make an intro after this.
Yeah. Yeah, they operate TG Ski is very similar to the partners that you guys use, but within Tahoe Basin typically. So
they're up at Mount Rose as well. So yeah, it'd be great.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we will be in touch. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right, we have one more presentation. I don't see Rebecca online just yet. But while we wait for her, a couple of things. So if you all have any changed scores after presentations are done, if you can send those to me during the next recess break. And if you could just like highlight, you could just send me your spreadsheet again, but if you could just highlight what ones were changed so I don't have to look through all of them, that would be super appreciated. You don't have to change anything if you don't want to. But if you could just highlight somehow the ones that you do change when you send those to me. Okay. Also, one other thing for the TAC, I am missing conflict of interest forms from Amy, Alex, and Mauricia. So I am going to send those to you again when we break for recess. And if you guys could get those back to me before we're done today, that would be wonderful. And I see Rebecca now. Rebecca, we're a little bit ahead of schedule. Are you ready to start?
Mute.
You're muted.
Great speech.
Sorry about that. I was just waiting because I didn't want to bombard you guys and, be here 20 minutes early. So, okay.
No problem. Yeah, you can go ahead and start whenever you want. I don't think I have a presentation from you, but if you've got one, you can share.
I do.
Perfect, we can see it.
Okay. Sharing this screen. All right, so does that shift it when I've moved it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure I've got a different setup because I'm out of the office, so that's why I'm doing this from a hotel room. So it's a little different. Normally I like to be there in person, but I could not make it this time. So thank you guys for your patience if I have any technical difficulties. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead. You got 10 minutes. I'll put in the chat when you're at 2 minutes to go.
Okay, perfect. I'll just set a timer and that way I'm following myself along here too. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I would like to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Rebecca Felderman, and I am the Executive Director of River Wranglers. I would like to thank you first and foremost for allowing me to present to you and for providing the opportunity for River Wranglers to provide this presentation and the, oh shoot, so sorry, and to provide in the past 2 years funding for us as well. So as we go along, I'm going to provide both information about River Wranglers as a program for those of you who may not be aware, or as just a refresher, and then I'm going to provide information as I go along that ties in with what we did last year. All right, so. Right. Is this showing my notes to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, well, shoot. Hold on, let me see if I can figure this out. Apologies. Okay. Let's see. Give me just a moment. Okay. All right, so River Wranglers has been around for over 30 years, and we have provided environmental education to thousands of students within the Carson River watershed. Apologies. Okay. Well, you guys are just going to have to ignore my notes because I need to lift this up just a little bit to read my notes. And I am having difficulties at this hotel. I am so sorry. All right. We are primarily grant funded. And I think it's important to point out that with River Wranglers, we don't charge any of our students or schools for the services we provide. So we do our primary area of work in the Carson River watershed. And then additionally, we work with students in Alpine County, California. That is where the headwaters of the Carson River are located, with Alpine Watershed Group and some funding sources they have that allow us to come work in their area as well. And we also work with the Fallon Paiute Shoshone tribe and the Washoe tribe. And our primary individuals that we work with are our youth. And we do outreach in our communities. And of course, we do see adults at that point, but primarily it's school-age children. So every year we have a goal to attend one outreach event per county in the Carson River watershed. And at these events, we provide a handful of interactive activities that are geared towards all ages, and they are centered around environmental education. It can be a Pelt Tracks Scat and Skull guessing game. We have an environmental educational Jeopardy board, and then just a variety of interactive activities. And then all of
Becca?
our activity, yeah.
Sorry, real quick. I think we're looking at the wrong screen.
Oh, so sorry. That was something okay. I'm so sorry. That's so embarrassing. Yes, you were looking at will and estate planning information for my parents. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh.
Just shows how prepared you are.
I'm sure I'm a very prepared person. Oh my gosh, that is embarrassing. Apologies. Oh, gracious. All right. I don't know if you can see me anymore, but I am blushing bright red. All right. So all of our activities are interactive. This picture here is from the Cantaloupe Festival this year. And that was one of our huge outreach events that we attended. And there were 750 people that came to the Cantaloupe Festival this year, which is humongous. The year prior, it was 444 individuals. So it was a great outreach event, one of our favorites that we attend. The multiple activities we do with students include Conserve the Carson River Workdays, Snapshot Day, Seasonal Changes, our Seasonal Changes program, and then field days that are centered towards either second, third, fourth grade, different age groups and their science standards. And we also work with adult ed special needs groups and homeschool groups as well, because we try and reach everyone in the watershed. So our Conserve the Carson River Workdays are geared towards fourth graders. So this young man here was planting pollinator plants on October 1st out at Fuji Park and Bailey's Pond. And so our Conserve the Carson River Workdays include a workstation where students will do something like plant pollinator plants, paint cottonwoods against beaver predation, wrap cottonwood trees to help protect against beaver predation, or pick up trash, line trails with rocks. Just kind of depends on the location and what is needed at that location. Additionally, they have 4 other environmental education stations they cycle through. And again, those will depend on what science standards are being met for that grade level. For fourth grade, it usually consists of a non-point source pollution activity, a water cycle activity, building the watershed, which focuses on map reading, learning the geography of the Carson River watershed, and creating that on the ground in a 2D version. And then they also receive a journal at the workday, and in that journal are different pages that align with the stations they're cycling through, so they can also write down information they've learned and try and activate their brain in multiple ways by being active and using their hands and bodies, as well as writing down the notes. Snapshot Day is once a year, and that is in October in the fall. And that Snapshot Day takes place at 11 different sites along the Carson River. And so we have either students or individuals, volunteers and partners that go ahead and do water quality testing and stream walk assessment at those 11 sites, and it provides a snapshot of the river on that day. This year, we had 108 students at 2 sites in Dayton and Carson. And we also had a passenger van led by one of our science teachers at Eagle Valley Middle School, who took 7 eighth graders with her, and that was the hotshot crew that went around and tested at 4 other additional sites. So that was pretty exciting. Next year, we expect it to be even bigger. We are working with Eagle Valley Middle School to have all eighth grade students participate in Snapshot Day, which would be about 300 eighth graders, in addition to schools in Dayton and Douglas County schools. And then on Snapshot Day, we also had 50 students from Diamond Valley School in Alpine County. And so River Wranglers helped facilitate that. Our seasonal changes program is a first grade centered program, and their standards surround recognizing seasonal patterns and their changes like light, precipitation, temperature, how plants and animals respond throughout the year. And I'm sorry, did somebody have a question?
No, keep going.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I heard something and it sounded like a question. So during that seasonal changes program, we go into the classrooms 3 to 4 times per year, once per season. And then we guide the students through a short slide discussing what happens during that season. Then we go out either on site to a pre-approved site or a site within short walking distance where we observe those 3 to 4 times per year, what happens during the season at the same time on that site. And we observe for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we come back into the classroom and we guide the students through filling out their scientific journal that they are given that we've created for them for the year. As I mentioned, we have other activities we provide, and that includes field days, Trout in the Classroom, our Trout in the Classroom program, and our flood awareness program. So field days are centered towards whichever grade and whichever science standards they have. So second graders are usually the classes that reach out to us and really like to have a whole separate field day for the second graders. Our Trout in the Classroom program last year, we were in 14 different schools and we saw 550 students over the course of that 6-week program. We do in-class programming for Trout in the Classroom, as well as take students out to the river to release once their trout have reached the fry stage. This year, we anticipate 13 or 14 schools again with even more students because we have more classrooms at those schools. And those schools are in Douglas, Carson, and Lyon counties. And then we also help facilitate the Trout in the Classroom release for the Alpine County schools as well. These are some pictures for you all to show you the national tree ornaments that we created with students as part of that awesome program that NOER reached out to us for. And the students and community members had a wonderful time and thought it was just, frankly, they just thought it was the bee's knees being able to create an ornament that was going to go on the national tree. So here's some examples of ornaments that were created. And then additionally, I totally skipped a slide. Here were some other fun pictures I wanted to show you. My apologies. These are just outreach events or events with students. So you can see in the upper left-hand corner, this was at the Nature Conservancy, had an open house that we presented at. The right-hand corner was the upper right corner is a groundwater model presented by Aaron Smith at RCI, and that was at our workday we had with Empire Elementary School on October 1st. The bottom left includes a photo from half of the 5th grade class at Numa Elementary School in Fallon. We do back-to-back work days where we have about 150 students per day. And then the right side is a pre-K through 2nd grade class that came out to the Nature Conservancy. And we led them on a nature walk and talked about animals and learned to identify animals based on their fur patterns. And there is my information. Should anybody have the desire to reach out, I'm available via email and phone. Again, I would like to thank you for allowing me to present. Somewhat scattered. I do much better in person, I promise.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Let's start with any questions online for River Wranglers.
Chad Taylor for the record. Thank you for that presentation, Rebecca. My notes were that I kind of wanted a little bit more information and you filled me in, but if you really serve that many students and what you just went through, I can now see how you accomplish that. Your price per youth served is impressive, and I believe your project is scalable continuously, right? You can continue to bring on more and more. And I guess my biggest question is, out of those 50 200 or over 5,000 students, how many hours do you think, as one of our other applicants have said, time outdoors? How much time do they get to spend outdoors, maybe per student?
So let's see. So I'm just going to kind of give you some examples of events so you have an idea. So the Conserve the Carson River work days are entirely outdoor based. We do a wrap up in class afterwards, but the event itself is outdoors. So that they come out for usually it's about a 3-hour event, the students. The Ag in the Classroom events that we provide outreach at with pelts and tracks and skulls are all outdoor. Those are on school sites, but they do them outdoors. Our Trout in the Classroom programs, it's a 1.5 hour in class for 3 activities. And then when we take them to release, it's anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. That one is more weather dependent because the trout releases take place in early March, end of February. So if it's snowing heavily, then we generally shorten it because the students get really cold and the teachers tend to say, no, we're going to wrap this up. Then when we're talking about our field days, those are also 2 to 3 hour events. Our outreach events are all primarily outdoors unless the weather has made them move inside. And so the outreach events are anywhere from 2 hours to 8 hours, depending on the outreach event itself. And then let's see. I'm trying to see, what did I forget? Or did I forget anything? All of our
Well-
flood awareness, while I brushed on that, that's actually something that is provided with FEMA funding, but that's all indoors in classrooms, and we usually do those in the winter time. So we, because we're not really taking students out to outside in the winter.
Got it. So all these students typically see probably on an average about at least 4 hours out in nature.
I would say, and then the seasonal changes is going to be a little bit less because again, that's the first graders. So
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well
Mhm.
done.
Thank you.
Any other questions online?
Yeah, hi, Amy Berry. Camera keeps going on and off. Sorry. Doesn't want to go on. Oh, there we go. Hi, thanks for the presentation. A question for you. So all the programs that you just took us through, is that what the breadth of the organization is, or all of those programs are what you're asking for funding to support?
So that is just the breadth of the program. What I have used the NOER funding in the past for is to cover everything except flood awareness. Just variations depending on what other grants we might receive. But I try and spread it to all the programs so that NOER gets their support spread to as many students and as many programs as possible.
Okay, that's super helpful. And then I'm just curious, because in your application, I think you said all of the students that you support are underserved. Is that possible if you're serving such a huge percentage of the community?
So this is that question is based solely upon the free and reduced lunch question. So all of the schools within the watershed that we serve have some percentage of free and reduced lunch. The question says to utilize the highest, which is Lyon County has the highest free and reduced lunch, and more rural communities. And then the lowest goes down to like Carson City, because some of the schools we work at, like St. Teresa's and Carson Montessori, are not in that same level. But overall, the students we reach up and down the watershed tend to be underserved. And I did not include the information about like Alpine County when we work out there, because that's, California versus Nevada, but that's like 55% native population. So it varies up and down the watershed, but generally speaking, it's rural and underserved populations.
Okay, thanks.
Does that clear it up? I know it's kind of a funky
it's a little bit
question.
confusing because we meet with some grantees and they only work with schools with a really high level of free and reduced lunch. Like that's their whole client. It seems. Oops. You're capturing more. Oops. Lost me.
I think Amy's frozen.
But yeah, to continue clarifying, it is a little complex of an answer for us because we do work within those 5 counties in Nevada. But the majority of the schools we go into and the students we work with are very high levels of free and reduced lunch, with the exceptions of, like I said, like the St. Teresa's and the Carson Montessori are a little bit different. But the majority of them are in the public school system, and they are either Title I or very high free and reduced lunch.
James had a
This is James Settlemeyer, just for clarification. It also gets into a situation, Ms. Berry, where the federal government dictates that if a school hits a certain percentage threshold, let's say 25, 30% of the school is free and reduced lunch, the whole school is automatically deemed free and reduced lunch. Regardless, you have some very affluent children in that community, the simple triggering of that percentage creates where the whole school is hereby counted. That being said, just for a disclosure, I've worked with this organization before, and they are sponsored currently by NDEP and Nevada State Parks, just for clarification. Thank you.
Yeah, so to clarify further, Kendall, for the record, they do use a percentage that that reflects the percentage at each school who qualify. So it might be that the whole school gets free and reduced lunch if they meet that threshold that you're talking about, but they'll still report the percentage who qualify at that school.
That's good to know. Thank you, Kendall.
All right, we're at time, but thank you, Rebecca, so much for being here. And we will be in touch.
All right, thank you all very much. And if anyone has additional questions, you have my information, so feel free to email or text or call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
we are now in recess until 1:45, at which point we'll begin deliberations about funding. That's the end of our presentation. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you back at 1:45.
Okay, thanks, Kendall.
The triple decker.
Hey, everybody online, we're gonna give it like 1 more minute for people to get back, and then we'll get started.
Nothing other.
Chad, can you see the Excel spreadsheet? Cool, awesome.
Yes.
Is it too small?
No, because this program has a new button where I can enlarge your screen independently. So I can
okay.
raise it in and out. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, I can zoom in. I'm gonna zoom in. I think in the room it's a little small, but
Yeah.
I just scroll over for some of the info, but that's okay.
Chad,
So
Don't they rank down?
Chad, it was a little
They're right.
disconcerting to me that a lot of your questions were exactly what I was gonna ask. I was getting a little bit kind of freaked out by that.
I think it means they picked you properly for the board, right? You asked the right questions.
That might be one way of looking at it.
I think they did a good job. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I want $2 million. I just want to fund them all.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Organic.
Well, I have to say hats off to Kendall. She basically does this all by herself.
She really does. And well done,
I
Kendall.
agree.
Very organized and enjoyable.
Kendall runs a tight ship over there.
I don't know how tight, but she runs the ship.
Can I make one very minor suggestion before I forget?
Please.
Can you have the grantees put their name in front of their file names? Because it was easier for me to download everything and then go through stuff, and a lot of people didn't put their names on their docs. So, and then today it was really hard to go back and find them.
Yes, I can do that.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead. Amy, I keep taking your stuff, but if you want to call us to item number 8.
Yeah. Item number 8, calling us back to order so we can
Right.
deliberate.
Awesome. So we are now looking at the spreadsheet showing us the current order according to average score. I told you guys in your TAC training a slightly wrong number about how much we would get to distribute here. It's a little bit lower, so sorry about that, but it's still more than we've gotten to in the past. So there's still that. And so right now, this is our top 6 scoring applications with SOS Outreach at the top with 86.6 points, Wild Sheep Foundation 85.7, Nevada Outdoor School 84.7, YMCA of Southern Nevada 84.3, Lead with Horses 84.2, and St. Jude's Ranch for Children 83. That would, so if we were to fully fund all of those, we actually couldn't, but we could almost fully fund all of those. That would put us at our at over our $226,400 to allocate towards tier 2 projects. So if we want to deliberate over how we can do partial awards for each project, and then we can spread the money out a little bit more. We've done that the past couple of years. And so in that case, the next few on the list in terms of top scoring, we have Raise the Future with 82.7 points, Girl Scouts of Sierra Nevada 82.5, Democracy Prep with 82.3, River Wranglers with 82, Walker Basin Conservancy with 82. So all of those are 82.
Kendall,
Yes.
Kendall, I don't think I got it to you in time, but in your email is my adjustment for River Wranglers. Her in-person changed my score. It's the only one that changed the score. For the most part, I just see if I didn't do anybody solid. So if that helps you in any fashion, I feel like that thing presented a little differently would be a monster.
Okay.
So yeah.
Up 8 point. Okay.
Can I make a suggestion? Can you go back up to the top ones?
Yes. Give me 1 minute though
Yeah.
to change chats because I had not
Oh yeah, sure.
done that yet.
Amy, this is James Settlemore. I think we're probably thinking a little bit similar. Maybe we have a discussion after we change those and go to the top and see if we all feel that those are the top ones. You know, because there's some discussion. I haven't changed my scores. I just have what I did, you know, as we went along. And obviously I wouldn't mind a discussion of people who overperformed in person compared to their application. And if we all wish to make any adjustments based upon that. That's just a suggestion that I'm throwing out there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if there's any like standout presentations you guys want to discuss first, we can.
Can we pull up the top 7 that you have listed?
Yes, these are top 6.
6?
If they were fully funded, that would spend all of our money. Or we can break it down and start doing partial awards and then bring some of these others up here.
So the first one was the SOS Outreach, which is the snow sports mentorship.
Yes.
Right? And then the Wild Sheep Foundation. They didn't talk much about the money they spend going to the exotic game ranch in California, but I don't think that's a large contingent of what the money goes for. But I was concerned about that within the application.
We have that every year, though. That's always
Correct.
an issue, yeah.
Always an issue.
Not from
My concern with Wild Sheep Foundation is, I don't think we want to fund an indoor conference, right? Doesn't that kind of go against what the idea of this grant is, to get kids outside learning?
Yeah, we've talked about that with
Good
them.
point.
And they, that's why they included their other programs, I think, is because we told them it has to have some outdoor component, at least partially. So I think that's why they included like some of the camps in California and stuff in their application this time. But the largest, I do believe, chunk of money and experience is for the conference, which is indoors at the convention center. But they do like,
It's a cool experience. I mean, those kids get there at 8 in the morning and don't leave until 3. And they can fish inside, they can do archery. I mean, they're doing outdoor activities inside. They can like dig for dinosaur bones. They get to talk to the bear biologist from NDOW. I mean, NDOW does a lot of participation at this event. We have a booth. There's all kinds of like actual interaction with wildlife. So there's live animals, there's always snakes and all kinds of stuff there that they walk around the room with and you can hold them. I think it's pretty impactful for the amount of kids that it touches. Like maybe they're going to learn something inside that they can take outside.
yeah, and if if they were like partially funded or something, we could ask them to.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, I think everything they're doing sounds great. I just don't know for this grant if that's a match, right? The indoor stuff. Like I have kind of a problem with that. I think it's great to do all of that, but for this specific funding, I really think we're supposed to get kids outside.
Yeah,
They did that.
Yeah, technically, not all of their programming has to be outdoors, but it should be the majority.
Yeah, and he said the majority of their budget was that event. So
yeah.
I mean, I think we should fund them, but somebody said partial funding. I think I would be in favor of that.
Yeah.
I would be.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think we've had this conversation each year, is that partially funding the ones that ask for the maximum amount and stretching the dollars is value added. I don't want to say anything about the Wild Sheep one because we're so intimately tied with them. The one thing that I was going to pitch though is that the Churchill outdoor days and the other experience, those are all outside and they're cheaper because they don't have to pay so much for the sack lunches. I know that's what the bulk of the cost is giving kids lunch. So it's not like they're paying for the indoor facility, and I'm not trying to sell you on that, but I guess that's all I have. And I didn't adjust my scores because I knew this part was coming, which kind of goes over that, but
Yeah, and we can, like, looking at their budget for Wild Sheep Foundation, it's about $670 towards rental fees and drinks and food for Fort Churchill camping. There is the exotic sheep hunt they're requesting $950 for. And then $1,100 for Nevada Outdoor Experience. Post events from the expo, that's $950, and then about half for the convention center. So that's about $6,600.
I would just like to point out also that this event that they have is in January. So it's during a time when kids probably can't get outside unless they're doing winter sports. So they're getting to have the opportunity to do a whole bunch of maybe spring, summer, fall activities and learn about what you can do outside. Yes, again, inside, but it is in January. So it's giving them kind of an opportunity to have some outside experiences, even though it's cold outside.
I would, I think all of you have great feedback on that, and I'm going to align the same with Amy. When I look through these, what gets kids outside is important, but I do agree that to get them outside, you have to introduce them to what's outside. So it's a perfect place to do that. I just wonder if there's a way that we can get some sort of metric of out of those 5,000 kids next year, if we fund it and they get there. Is there any way that we can find out if they went outside or are going to go outside? Just something to think about, because what a place to get them introduced to outdoors.
I think the post-expo events potentially would be the way to do that. I think they generally recruit from the convention for those specifically. Yeah.
Nice.
So we could potentially fund like convention and post-expo outdoor events or something.
So maybe a different way to look at this is I'm looking at it is, you know, what are the thoughts about if you're talking about large organizations, you know, potentially nonprofit or otherwise, you know, they're asking for amount of money, but look at how much matching money they have. And I know that sometimes that's not really fair to do, but it seems they may have other sources of income. Yet we don't want to have an entity that has 90% of the money from us because it's not showing any buy-in. So to me, I'm always trying to land somewhere in the middle there in that discussion. And as I'm looking at the top 7, you know, do you want to have a discussion about any of those top 7s and talk about it? Or what are the ones down below that we'd really like to give something to that we just are economically limited? Or do you want to try to just whittle it down in the top 7? And I don't know if we, you know, want to have a large brainstorming thing, or do you want to, you know, which way we wish to proceed? Because that's where we're at. It's a question of in the top 7, we have to cut anyways to get to the magic number. Or is there any discussion from ones down below that it's like, you know what? I really would like to see that one succeed based upon their presentation. And whether that I'll be honest. I look at like Democracy Prep. It wasn't the best presentation I've ever seen in my life, but yet I am compelled to try to figure out a way to help them. I agree, because they're trying to get the very people that really need to get the assistance of getting outside. And the fact that the Clark County school system sucks so bad that they don't take their own kids to see Hoover Dam pisses me off.
We're working on that one for you, and you're not wrong. And to your point, I think that the success of NOER money to some of these organizations clearly shows. So spreading it to a few more that gets them kickstarted, I'm on board with that thought process as well.
And the same with river wranglers. I know I'm not on the TAC, but I got to read like all of the final requests for reimbursement that Kendall did. And I read all of those projects and the kids that they touched and look at the pictures and ones like river wranglers and Girl Scouts. Like I saw how many lives those touched, and like you can see that's really impacting those kids. Those projects are. I would highly. I mean, I think Democracy Prep is a good one too, but like river wranglers, that's so many kids that reaches out to, and same with Girl Scouts.
Yep.
That's my.
Okay, so I'm hearing maybe we want to.
Well, do you want to take an individual vote on ones to put out there? I'm not trying to, you know, slide it. with the reality that everything we move up are already limited.
Is there another way to use a sort function? And I don't know, Kendall, if you had my sheet or not, but I sort it by total cost per youth served. Like, is there any?
I would have to add, I would probably have to calculate that and add a column.
Got it. Okay.
I,
Because I find that some of them that are really good are pretty inexpensive per youth, like between $50 and $100.
yeah, and that is
Those-
calculated into their objective score as well.
Okay.
the
Okay. That's great.
youth. Yeah.
I would say the one question I had on River Wranglers, which was what I was asking her, is I don't think she accurately completed the first section of the application in terms of the kids. Like, I don't know if she
Yeah.
just got confused, but she's not, that number of kids are not all on free and reduced lunch. Like, that was an overstatement. So if we go back to what Director Settlemeyer was saying earlier, like, I really want to see kids who aren't getting outside get this money to get them outside. And I'm not sure that's happening. I think she's getting a lot of kids. They're working with a lot of kids. I'm just not sure they're the most underserved that we could reach through this funding.
Yeah, I think that was incorrect based on how she described it. It's not supposed to be from the highest. It's supposed to be from the area with the most kids you serve, or from the school with the most kids you serve. If you're like serving across multiple areas. So yeah, that might be inflated a little bit.
Because she got, on your scoring, she got a 10 and a 9 on percentage of students on free and reduced lunch and percentage of students facing barriers. So I think if we brought those scores down to more accurately reflect what's happening, I don't know if River Wranglers would rank so high.
I think the issue you get into, Amy, is that they're primarily based out of Dayton.
Yeah.
And Lyon County meets all that
Yeah.
and beyond.
Yeah, I do think their primary audience would probably be similar.
Would be free and reduced, and
Yeah.
even
But
Douglas
she
County.
talked about programs. I mean, she shared programs across their entire organization. And then she said she was going to sprinkle the money across the whole organization, which is quite different, I think, than what we've heard from pretty much everyone else. So I actually had real questions about that application after seeing the presentation.
We funded
If
them.
we're
last
funding
year.
everything, then she can't be 100%. She can't get a 10 and a 9 on those scores. I just don't think that's accurate.
Do you guys remember when we had this conversation with Melanie Urquiaga a couple years ago about rural kids being not represented in science? So that was another way to hit the mark. I've always had problems with these two questions because it's so hard to measure. To Amy's point, is that it's kind of it's half interpretation on how you answer the question to what you're putting as the answers, even though it's not supposed to be. So I just like it's kind of murky no matter what, I guess, is where I'm coming from.
It is.
Fair.
Yeah.
Totally.
Can you scroll up just a little bit? Can
I was
we
just
see
looking at-
two and three?
Can I answer?
Okay.
Jonathan, go ahead.
The groups that have been funded in the past, is there any reporting required for them of how their program went that year and how the funds were used?
Yep.
And,
All of that.
okay, and do we consider that in this scoring process?
So there is a grant history scoring and the objective scores that
Okay.
that was again scored by me.
Okay.
It's just based on if they've had past successful or unsuccessful grants. So everyone on this list has had past, or who has had a past success grant has been successful. There's a couple we've had like major like communication reporting issues with, where like they would get docked a point on that objective if they were to apply again. But that's not the case for any of these that are repeats. The ones that we have funded in the past, in this top 6, we have Nevada Outdoor School. They've received funding the past 2 years, YMCA 1 year, St. Jude's the past 2 years. Lead with Horses technically has not received funding, but they absorbed Center for Adaptive Writing, which has. River Wranglers has for the past 2, Girl Scouts for 1, Walker Basin for 2. So some new ones and some that have received funding in the past as well.
Thanks.
Is it an anomaly that we would initiate $230,000 in funding, but it flows into almost $1 million in projects? Like, did it work out that way I mean, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, our return on investment is typically around 2 to 3 times as much.
Wow, it's great.
I threw in the chat, is there any way that we could make it just a little bit, make it so that we can see the ones that fall below the top 6, just as we're contemplating if we might reallocate? I don't know if we, yeah,
I can
sorry.
zoom out. It's
That's
hard to
great.
see in the room for us, but I can zoom out for a minute at least.
Thank you.
Mauricia, I saw your comment. I was really impressed with the UNR extension camp too. I mean, I didn't think that was a lot of money, and what a cool experience for those kids.
Yeah, it just struck me that if we could reallocate some funds to some of these groups that I think made really compelling cases where we're getting them like over that hump of funding for really great programs, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, the one thing to keep in mind too is if you're like bumping people up who have way lower scores than some of the others, I have to justify to them why. And I do back for them, right? So just that there is that to keep in mind too.
How many people
UNR
scored
is-
altogether? Yeah, I don't think we'd want to look at anyone who scored lower than 80 altogether. Although it's amazing how this was hard. People made really, their applications were so strong. I have to say, like, it was really hard finding the issues with them, but there were a few.
Yeah. This was an unusually high scoring year for sure on all across applications.
I think that speaks to you, Kendall. Great job. With the,
Yeah, you got us trained. Can we do like we did? Can we do like we did last year and just pull like 5 or 10 grand out of each of the top ones and then allocate it to the next 3 or 4 that we feel it needs to go?
Well, okay, we can do that, but let's maybe start with what we're like, you know, of these ones above 80 points, maybe. So Sierra Nevada Academy and above, which ones were like potentially the most impressive that you want to look at pulling up? So again, we have River Wranglers, Raise the Future, Girl Scouts, Democracy Prep, Walker Basin Conservancy, Green Our Planet, and Sierra Nevada Academy, all above 80 points.
Yeah, I don't think Green Our Planet's in the running for us. It doesn't get people outdoors. It keeps them in schools planting stuff. I was off on that one.
Yeah, I agree with that on Green Our Planet. I love them as an organization, but I just, yeah.
Didn't feel like that aligned with us for sure. So not that one, but the Sierra Nevada Academy, was that?
That is, they want to make some like outdoor learning space enhancements for programming kind of across I think it's K through 8.
Oh yeah, Cassandra. She's bright. She wrote a good story. I was reading her stuff. I was surprised. I was like, she's gonna go far. Okay, so from there up is what we're picking from.
Yeah.
So just to throw a different spin on this, I think it's also important that we look about where some of these individuals are located throughout the state, realizing that you will seek to go back to the Nevada legislature, which is dominated by 75% of the population of the state of Nevada being in the South. There is a little bit of merit to making sure that our funding doesn't necessarily have to reflect that 100%, but the less reflective it is, the less reflective your success will be going forward. That's just what I've run. It's
the political.
Yeah, we do have majority Northern Nevada up in these top 6 for sure.
I actually had scored Democracy Prep way back when in my initial thing in a 92.
Yeah.
Based upon the number of kids that they educate for the amount of money that they get and the very people that are unlikely to get outside without some encouragement.
And I think Bobby has a good point there in the comment section that places like Democracy Prep don't have grant writing staff. So, you know, keeping in mind that, these other presentations were really great, but you have some of the lower level organizations who, you know, it's just staff writing the grant. So keeping that in mind too, that, you know, maybe the presentation isn't as great, but the impact is.
Yeah, they had a really clean CR.
Admin cost, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, it was like all transportation. Yeah, and some really, really cool experiences. I know they applied last year and were really close as well, but didn't end up getting funded.
Right. So I mean, if you look at the considerations of the cost per kid and you include admin staff and those costs, I think it changes Democracy Prep's overall, because how low their actual grant is, not having those costs in there. I think that changes some numbers if you really look at it.
Well, another thing to know about Green Our Planet is that that garden bill that Woody mentioned was written specifically for them, basically. So they are already getting $400,000 of state funding over the next 2 years.
Oh, yeah, that is one thing. I like Green Our Planet. I think they do great work. They do very good work on fundraising. So not that you should count that against somebody, but I do feel like this is an opportunity for some of this organizations that might not otherwise get funding, who are doing really good work.
Yeah, I feel like Girl Scouts, Democracy Prep should really be considered those. And River Anglers, I'll leave out of it because that's a favorite of mine, but I don't want to tip you guys one way or the other. But I will say that reading all of the requests for their final grant reimbursements, that the Girl Scout one was so impactful for those girls. I don't see how we don't fund that one.
So one more thing I wanted us to just look at, which is the amount. So SOS ranked the highest, right? But they only asked for 25,000. So do we want to think about like parity in terms of how they rank? Like right now, Nevada Outdoor School is number 3, but it's right now the way it is, they would get the most money, which seems a little off to me personally.
Jonathan had a question.
Yeah, we'll get to that one second. Amy, go ahead, Jonathan.
So the Girl Scouts, they charge dues. Is that an issue at all in this process?
Most of the dues in the council-led troops, which is what their request funding for, are waived. And if they're not, it's like $11 a year.
Okay, I don't remember saying that in their application though.
The dues?
They talked about dues, but they didn't say they were waived, at least as I recall.
Oh, okay. That may be, they were this year.
Okay.
Is what is my understanding. So they may not put that in for next year.
Okay.
What if you guys considered
pretty minimal?
What if you guys considered taking 10% off of each of the top 6 or whatever that is, and just seeing where that leads you? What do you think?
Well, I think to Amy's point, maybe we look at these 4 here. In rows 4 through 7 that are kind of at that max ask. We've never funded anyone over $30,000 thus far with this amount of funding that we've gotten. So I think that's something to consider. So if we have a proposal, maybe for those kind of close to $50,000 asks, what those might be.
Maybe what about the question of, if this were not funded, would it still occur?
Yeah.
And I look at some of these and I look at the horse one, and the parents are driving these kids to these places. There's no transportation that's being provided by the family. Is this a critical thing that makes or breaks a particular program? And trying to figure it out. Again, I'm going to go back to Moxie Prep. They don't get the money. This ain't happening.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think with any of these larger organizations, especially the ones that are like talking about general kind of program organization support, they have other grant funding. Not to say that all of those are guaranteed at any given year, but
and with that being said, if we decide to cut any of them, I think we need to have the discussion that we have to give the discrepancy to the committee, or not the committee, but to the staff. If they contact them and find out if we cut them 25% and they say, well, then the program can't be done, then we have to give them the discretion to basically to figure out, we need to have a discussion. Okay, do you want to give them 100%, or you want to say, okay, too bad?
Yeah.
We then take that money and spread it around somewhere else, because that has happened in the past.
yeah, that did happen our first year. So we could elect for like a couple of alternates. The other thing to keep in mind is y'all are submitting a list of recommendations. Denise gets final say on where funding goes. And then also we still have micro grants to consider, which NOER staff does internally. So when we do that after this, we try and, help balance out geographically and type of program and that sort of thing too. So we can also do a little bit of that balancing with the micro grants later on.
So I'll just throw something out to keep us moving here. What if 4 through 7, we just knocked down to 25K each. So that's parity with our number one vote getter, SOS.
I second that.
Do we know what the math looks like after we do that?
I second that because the program will still go on.
Yeah, I agree as well. I'm actually, I wonder if we should reevaluate the max ask given the amount of funding we've typically received.
Yeah, right idea. In the future,
We might have to do NAC.
Yeah.
But I might hold off on that. We'll consider that internally.
Yeah, that's definitely a concept for the future. Like, but I do think it's something worthwhile because it could make the funds go further for more folks.
Yeah. Potentially, yeah. All right,
So
so if
then-
we knocked those 4 down to 25 and leave the rest of these 8 as is, including Democracy Prep and Girl Scouts, we're only at $178,403. So we still have $47,000 left after that with those 8 funded with the 4/25,000.
And that's three Clark County, 6 Northern.
Yeah, 3 Clark, kind of 1 Eastern rural, and then the rest kind of the greater Washoe, Carson City, Douglas area.
Just for occasion, the ones that we cut down to, 25,000. What has been traditionally the number of kids that a particular program has educated? Because I understand the concept that, great, we've never gone more than 25,000.
Yeah.
But do any of these have a number that far exceeds than what we've traditionally looked at as education? Because let's face it, if you're in Clark County, your opportunity to expose a far greater number of children is going to be, well, greater.
Well, and like some of the numbers we're looking at for Clark County are definitely like a little bit on the lower end, like these 125, 199 compared to like 4,600, 3,800.
River Wranglers at 52.
Yeah. So we, if they're like, if there were like a Clark County one with a larger number, I don't know that there is. So again, maybe we look at that in micro grants later on.
Right, so you have St. Jude, we cut down, and then what was the YMCA, right?
YMCA of Southern Nevada. That
So
is
what
a really impactful one in Clark County that we've funded this year.
So what if you move like River Wranglers and Raise the Future up to number 10 and 11, rows 10 and 11?
Ooh, I was on with 10 because it was an even number, but 11 just threw me off again, Amy.
Well, it's actually 10. It just goes to.
It's actually 10. It's actually 10 because row 1 is just.
Row 1 is 10 number.
Yeah. All right.
I
So
would-
if we did
Kendall,
that,
I would delete anything that you have below. Otherwise, you're going to end up double counting by accident. Like you have
Yeah,
Democracy, River Wranglers, Raise the Future, and Democracy Prep are still on the bottom.
before I do that, are we all good with moving those 4 up?
Well, let's just move them up for now and do the math, and then we can always move them back.
No, I know they're not calculating into the calculation they're doing doesn't matter right now.
The only comment I got on Raise the Future is 45.
That's the same thing. 45 kids. What the heck?
I mean, if they're, I don't know that them being above the Girl Scouts is.
Yeah, it's just a totally different experience. So, I mean, that one really got me because I think those are the least resourced kids that we have in our state.
Yeah,
I think foster kids need more support.
And we generally try to get a mix of like, we're doing some programs that reach a ton of kids a little bit, and then there's some programs that have a big impact on just a few kids.
And that was
Again,
more
it's
family.
balance.
That wasn't mostly kids. That was about the entire family.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a huge proponent of that. One family could change 10 other families.
Well, and I think it's a good complement to the St. Jude's Ranch, which is just kids in foster care who are doing simplification mostly with kids who are in other foster care placements. And this is kind of a good complement to that they're doing it with their foster families and creating supportive relationships all around there. So I think
One thing we did talk about though with Raise the Future is that it was all in-office camps, right?
Sorry, what do you mean by in office?
Day camps?
Posting them.
Correct. Yeah, no.
Yes. I don't,
No.
they're outdoors. They're at, I think they're at various places. We can look at that here.
Were they the ones going sailing and stuff? Or was that?
That was St. Jude's.
No, it's St. Jude's. Okay, sorry.
And St. Jude's did a
remember
good
that
job of, St. Jude's did a good job of keeping more stuff. I thought it was in state. It made it look like they went down to the river in Laughlin. I thought it was all in state instead of going to California, but I could be wrong.
St. Jude's has one camp for, they were talking about state camp, which Jonathan would have to help me out with that. But they said that was more for potentially developmentally challenged type children, better, probably wheelchair access. I'm just theorizing at the Irvine for a few.
I think it's largely that the staff at this camp in Irvine are trained for serving like trauma-informed and foster care youth in particular, which is not necessarily available at the scale that they need in Nevada.
Right. Yeah.
We just don't have it here.
Yeah.
How many total youth served is that top 10?
Let's see. The tricky thing about that is if we're cutting costs to some of these numbers might lower.
Mm-hmm.
But if the numbers were as is 15,802, but you know, potentially reducing that by a couple of thousand based on like budget cut that we made.
15,000 and total possible was
Of students served.
54,000. Yeah. I'm looking at overall 54,000. So 15 of the 54,000 presented. Okay. All right.
And again, that's just tier 2. We still have micro grants as well.
So do we want to put some money in the green boxes next to River Wranglers and raise the future so we can see how we're doing against our budget?
Yeah, I left those blank because I wasn't sure, because those were over 25. If we wanted to put those at 25, 20, what are you guys thinking there?
Can you scroll down a little bit so we can see who's below those options? Just wondering if we don't spend the full 50, what else we can add?
Walker Basin, which they've received funding the last 2 years. They serve a unique population that really no one else does.
They doubled too with our money.
Yeah, they have. Sierra Nevada Academy, which we talked about, TRTA. Although the ones above 80 would just be Sierra Nevada Academy and Walker Basin.
Yeah.
40,000 left-ish, is what you're saying.
So could I suggest we move Walker Basin up above the yellow line and then split the remaining funds amongst those three that are sort of like second tier?
Do we know what the administrative cost is for Walker Basin? Just out of curiosity.
Oops.
10%, I think, isn't it?
I can look.
Last grant we gave was 27. I wasn't super happy.
They're not allowed to do above 10, so it's
10%.
It's 10%.
They took the max.
So it's just about $2,000 if they were awarded the full 24. And if they were to get a lesser amount, then it would still be just 10%. Okay, so if we have those three up, what do we want to, let's see how much we have.
50 divided by 3, more or less, right?
Better view of the screen, I agree.
All right, so we've got 47, just under 48,000 left to distribute amongst those three, if we did that.
15 apiece.
Yeah.
We don't have to do like
Even Steven.
like a perfect, allocation of 22,600, because we can again make for that in micro grants if we want to. But if we did 15,000 each, that'll put us just like 3,000 under.
Now, I'm no politician, but I did just get done watching The Diplomat, so I'm a little bit addicted now. But But what does this do for us for the future of funding? Like doing more like this, getting up and adding more instead of like the top 6. This is beneficial for us overall into the future, right? Because it gets more people moving in the right direction. We're not doing ourselves a disservice by doing more.
I think, in the legislative session this year, we were able to show higher than anticipated numbers of students, hours outside, jobs supported, because it was spread out across more organizations, students served. So I do think it is helpful in terms of like showing impact and like numbers.
Why don't you?
Yeah, because if there are actually 10 companies showing a return, that's better than 5 for sure when you're walking to go get some more money. So got it.
What if you took that last chunk of money and did another 1,000 to River Wranglers and Raise the Future, and then the balance to Walker Basin, and then that would be all of it?
We could do that.
One thing I just looked up, Raise the Future didn't mention, they're doing a pretty good partnership with and providing for trauma care, working with the Rainer Foundation. So that kind of gives me a little bit better concept that they are getting these kids outside, because that organization is all camps.
Yeah, and they did say it's like a 4-day or 3-day, 4-night or something, 4-day, 3-night camp is what it. I looked at their application again. That's what it says. It doesn't specify where, so I'm not sure if they have that completely figured out yet. But
are you able to just highlight real quick on this who's a first-time funder?
Yeah, so I'll put them in.
First-time grantee. Sorry.
Orange. Our first time. Lead is kind of first time. So they're gonna be dark orange. Those are all all be first time grantees.
Oh, that's really nice to see. I love seeing that mix of new and old, or new and former.
About half and half. So.
And large and small.
Yep. And we've got at least 2 really rural focused projects. We've got 3.5-ish. I know Raise the Future is largely Clark County. I think they pull a little bit from like Lincoln, but I think it's mostly Clark. So about
let's put Clark on anything that goes forward.
And then the rest kind of northern.
Yeah, I guess we could go back to Raise the Future and say we're partial funding you, and we want this partial funding to go towards your Southern Nevada kids.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be. They're going to find where the kids are that have the most trauma and need the thing. They're statewide, so it sounds like they actually send kids maybe up to like the Rainer Foundation that have undergone extreme trauma. So while the camp may be up at Rainer, i.e. the Tahoe area, the kids are more than likely coming from areas in Clark. I don't know how to say that. That's what I'm getting an initial read on.
Well, and generally we haven't in the past like dictated what budget items we want to fund for them specifically. I have them give me a new budget when they're partially funded. But that kind of leaves it open to, if there's other grant opportunities that have more specific parameters around what they can fund. Like a lot of them don't fund transportation. A lot of them won't fund labor. We can fund those things. So I typically like kind of leave that up to them. What do they need to like make this happen? Right?
So at the current level, Kendall, if we did the award column, we're done, correct?
Yes, so if we did each of these awards as is in this column F, that would be all the funding. And we would be at 11 projects. Again, about half and half past or new applicants and old applicants, and a good mix of like program reach. I think a good mix of geography. I think I think it looks good.
And a good chunk of kids.
And a good chunk of kids, yeah.
Does anybody disagree on the phone or in the room with that assessment? I mean, otherwise we could leave this recommendation obviously to NOER because it's their final call and we've done our job and have an idea what's going on. But also, is there anybody out there that has anything they wish to state currently differently or go ahead?
Did you want to? Not differently. I was just going to say as a newbie who's filling in too, this was all my top ones ended up getting into the mix. And I think this is a great spread of how to help out the state. It's hard. I wanted to give them all money, obviously, but we can't. So I didn't speak up much because you guys already got to it before I got there. And I was like, oh, great. This is great.
That's typically how it goes, Nicole. Everybody wants to give everyone money.
Yeah, well, Nicole, you can work. Nicole, you can work with me down here in Las Vegas. I have some ideas, which brings me to: is there any conflict of interest for me to go out and help some of these Clark counties with funding myself, Denise?
No.
Okay, so I could actually go see these 3 Clark County people personally and go work on. I have some funding ideas and help for them.
You're a great man, Jed.
Yeah,
feel free.
Okay. Okay.
As long as it's after today. Or
Yeah,
after.
for sure. Okay, cool. And then one other thing to that as a conflict of interest, but can I interview each one of these people to give them content for next year for raising money for themselves without a conflict of interest?
Yeah. It's not a
Okay.
conflict to
All right,
you.
I have some ideas to help them raise funds, and I just want to pull it off. So I want to make sure.
I would wait until we award everybody.
Well, and don't
Yeah.
contribute to their applications directly.
Yes.
But
Correct.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Random, I see Nora Luna still in the names. Wasn't she one of our presenters, but she's still listed in like the names in the meeting?
It's a public meeting, so I can't like tell anyone they
Oh.
can't be.
I see. Okay. Hi, Nora. I didn't realize that. I thought this was like the closed deliberations. No worries.
No,
I know.
no secrets here.
Yeah, this is all public information. So
Kendall, can you send your final chart? Can you send this out to us?
yeah.
Great.
The other-
All right, well,
Nice
as
work.
the chair of
other-
the meeting, let's move this thing along. Should we make a motion to make this? Can we get a
Hold on.
motion? Oh,
We got a couple of questions
Mr.
here.
Jewell was bringing up a valid
Yeah.
question. I think he's going to the point of what does this body want to do just to allow the administration, in order to, figure out what to do if someone cancels out, if one of these people say that, hey, we wanted 50,000, you gave us 25, and that doesn't work, so we're canceling the whole program, what do you want to do with that type of?
That's happened before.
Guidance.
And the team just reallocates it to the next project.
or is it the next project, or just give more money to people that we cut their budget?
Or we redistribute it to people who have already been awarded. So it just depends.
I would say give it to people that are already awarded.
It depends on how much somebody was asking for that was in the next box. Like if they were wanting 8,000, we might award a smaller project and then reallocate the funds to the other projects.
And I mentioned that
That's it. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason.
I'm okay giving that type of decision to the administration because fundamentally it comes down to that. Let's say that somebody cancels out completely and that frees up, $16,000 or whatever. And all the other ones, the 16,000 doesn't make or break it, but there could be one down below that they could reach up and fully fund. And it would potentially help larger group of individuals. So I'm willing to trust, leave it within that unless someone's, problematic with that. But otherwise, I don't want to micromanage too far because they're the ones that they've created the success of this program. We're just guiding it.
Or we really lean on Kendall's, her expertise in this area and the knowledge that she has of a lot of these groups to try and figure out the best way to reallocate any leftover funding. Like we had leftover funds or some interest from this year that we were super excited to get. So that gave us a broader bank account to award grants this year. So really, if something like that happens, we work really hard to come together as a team and make the best decision. Do we give that to the next person in line, or do we reallocate it between all of the grantees that already got awards? So it's pretty careful consideration. We don't just willy-nilly.
I do think also, I think all of these would be doable. I think they would all take these awards, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. And
I think we've only had one in the past that declined a partial award. So
And I think somebody said, I think it was Lead with Horses. I'll end with this and I'll be quiet. I'm done. But I think Lead with Horses mentioned that Nevada is ranked last in mental health. I think the importance of what we're doing here and continuing to grow this, obviously we all agree that outdoor recreation is a key to fixing mental health. So I find the importance of this as a top priority and appreciate working with all of you on it.
Well said.
Definitely well said. I'd like to just go on the record and say that I recognize that we're here as an advisory committee and that the folks who, to Director Settlemeyer's point, who are the staff and the team there that are working with the Division of Outdoor Recreation, I have full faith in their final decision in review and understand. And I definitely I have a lot of faith that they'll do the right thing should any circumstances change with any of our grantees.
Agreed.
Thank you. Thanks, Mauricio.
Chad, I completely agree with the idea that we need to worry more about everybody's mental health, but since we're in the middle of a special session, that idea is out the door.
For today.
Touche.
Okay, well, if you guys are good with that, if we, see any reason to reallocate the funds differently, we'll certainly let you know. But yeah, Kendall's pretty good about making, sensitive decisions about where funds need to be.
Do you need
allocated.
anything more from this body?
I don't think so.
Yeah, is there any further discussion on the list of recommendations? All right, Amy, do you want to move us to item number 9?
Yes. Okay, moving to item number 9, submit recommendations to NOER administrator for possible action. Can I get a motion to submit these recommendations to the NOER administrator?
Greg motioned.
Aye.
Okay, can I get a second? Chad Taylor, I saw a
second.
finger raised. Okay,
Yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Great.
Thank you. And then we got one more public comment.
Yep, that moves us to action item or agenda item number 10, public comment. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. The public may request that items be added to a future agenda. No action will be taken on any matter raised during the public comment period that is not already on the agenda. Persons making comment will be asked to begin by stating and spelling their name for the record. If you would like to provide public comment virtually, please visit Microsoft Teams link on the posted agenda or dial the number. Is there any public comment?
Anyone in the room? Anyone online?
Okay, seeing no public comment, we'll close action 10. Okay, item 11, adjournment. Do we need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
You want a second?
I'll second.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, great. We are adjourned. Terrific job, Kendall. This was an amazing amount of work. You made it easy for us.
Thank you, everyone. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Chad. Bye, Amy. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, Bobby.
Night, John boy.